welcome to another Geared Up Garage video. My name is Jay, and in today's video, we're talking about our Scania 143. Okay, so you're probably sitting there thinking, what? There's a Scania 143? Yes, we have a Scania 143. Now, before we go on about the Scania 143, make sure you check out the top right-hand corner to watch a video on the Volvo, because that's our other truck. It's a long story with the Scania. So I'm going to run through all of the history of it, and I'm going to run through like why we don't have it here now, where it is, what's happening to it, and everything else. Footage is really old. It's from like 2015 and 2016, because that was the last time we pretty much saw the Scania, or 2017, whenever it was. If my prepubescent voice does come through, I do sincerely apologise. But without further ado, let's start at the beginning of our Scania. Okay, so the current picture we have on screen is a picture of the Scania, and Dad actually saw this at Gaydon back in 2015. Dad saw this, and he got speaking to the gentleman that owned it, and he says to me, Jay, this is a Scania, like, you know, do you want to come up and see it? So we go down to Kent, and I completely fall in love with it, and I'm like, Dad, we have to have this truck. I absolutely adore it. Dad, being the best dad in the world, bought the Scania and we brought it home, and this photo here is my little brother in the right hand side of the screen, in the passenger seat, and my dad driving it home for the very first time. And this is when it pulls in into the drive here. I play that video now. There she is. There she is. Oh, my voice is so bad. I'm gonna have to mute that. I'm gonna mute it because my voice is so bad in this video, and I'm so excited about bringing Big Red home. But this is the lane. Like, we have a little tiny country lane, as I live out in the middle of the sticks, and she's coming home there. In fact, I'll put the sound on like temporarily so you guys can just hear like bits and bobs of the video, but there's a lot of screaming and there's just a lot of shouting and a lot of excitement about this video. There she is! Kind of where my love for like vlogging and filming and stuff like that come in as well. This is kind of where it all stemmed from, really, because later on, like, because of Big Red, I have so much footage, and I've done like walk rounds and things like that, which you guys can see. So you can see a little bit on the chassis as well. It's a little bit scabby. It's a little bit, it needed work. She was very much a project truck for me and my dad. We didn't buy her, she was a show truck back in the day. We'll get to all of that in a minute. But yeah, this is her first coming home, and it was, she's so beautiful, such a lovely, it's a V8 as well. I should probably mention that it's a V8. If you're going to buy a 143, you've got to buy a V8, really, haven't you? It's 450 V8, it's not 500 V8. So anyway, that was Big Red coming home. And yeah, that was her at the front gate and her coming home. And now the next one we have is her at the night, and I've got a little video of her actually revving at night. So this is when we was putting her away in the sheds. Look at all of those lights lighting up, and she's got the cars airbrushing on the back of the truck as well, which I'll go into more detail in a minute and see. We didn't actually think we could get her in the shed, because the first night we brought her home, the air kit actually sat so high we couldn't bring her home in the shed. Pretty sure we parked her outside for the very first night. So yeah, that was her first day and her first night. So we decided we was going to put a 6x4 axle on her. Now, by this time I'd just left school. Literally, that was the summer that I left school, and I found myself working with Darren. Believe it or not, I don't know. I haven't filmed the Audi project video with the engine yet, so you guys haven't met Darren, but you're gonna meet Darren. And Darren was my technician, Darren and Chris, and I found myself working on Big Red. Funny enough, we got Darren to do the work, and I went down to Darren's yard, and we decided we was going to put a 6x4 axle on Big Red. So yeah, she come down that summer, and she went to the yard that we was working in, and we started restoring her. So we cut the back axle, because basically what happened was a gentleman called Stephen Jackman had her, and I don't know if the lorry broke its back with Stephen Jackman or with someone else, but Stephen Jackman had this lorry and he had it for a long, long time, and he's the one that put the airbrushing on it, and he's the one that put all of the took it to all the shows and worked it and everything else. So it was his lorry predominantly. So that's basically what happened. Stephen had the lorry, done it up, loved it, and for whatever reason sold it. Now, I have spoken to Stephen since, not in person, but I have, you know, messaged with him on Facebook and things like that, and he, you know, he loves what we're doing with the truck and things like that. But it had a crack in the chassis, long story short, and she broke her back. So we decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take off the 6x2 axle. We found an R series axle which we bought from a friend of ours who's a farmer, and we cut it, and me, Darren and Chris, well, I was only a little baby apprentice, so Darren and Chris pretty much welded a new axle on and lined it up and everything else, and basically we put the 6x4 axle on it. We cut and shut it just behind the gearbox, really. So everything back is actually an R series axle. We've actually got a video here of Big Red pulling out of the shed once we'd attached the axle, once we'd lined all the air lines up and things like that, and she was a rolling truck. So let's play that video now for you guys. There we go. So she appeared, this is a screenshot I took when I was 15, 16, of a triaxle. I basically Googled the truck because so many people kept coming back to the Facebook and things, and you can follow Big Red 143 on Facebook. We haven't uploaded anything in ages. You're going to see more about it here than you will anywhere else. And basically, because so many people were coming back to us, I was like, oh, what happens when I Google this truck? What comes up? And lo and behold, there again was Big Red. And she was sitting there on triaxles, keep on trucking, including the Scania 143 trucking hit song. And she's there. And this was taken on the way back from a truck show. I think it was actually, I don't actually know where it was. I've got a feeling or a hunch it was Ireland. I think Jackman took it to Ireland. I'm not sure. Stephen, if you're watching this, drop us a message. With all of that being said and everything else, where she was, how we got to have her, you guys are probably sitting there, and the elephant in the room is, why have you not seen her in person? Now, the reason for this being was after me and Darren finished the work on the restoration of the truck, and I say restoration loosely, after we finished switching the chassis, Dad decided that the next part of the restoration was to have the fabrication done. So to have the twin exhausts made, to have alley checker plate wings put on for the rear wheels. And so we took it to a place up in Thurrock to have this fabrication done. It was a gentleman that was recommended by Dad. She's still there. 3-4 years down the line, she's still sitting in Thurrock and hasn't, to the best of mine and my dad's knowledge, hasn't moved. We do really want to bring her home, and perhaps this year we will eventually get her home. And so there was a bit of rot and things like that on through the roof, so she's probably pretty crusty. If you're really interested and you do want to see more about the truck, and you know you want to find out more about her history, and you want me to go see her, put me in the comments below. Go see Big Red. And if I tell you what, if this video gets 5 likes and we get 4 comments or 5 comments that says go see Big Red, I'll turn up at the bloke's yard and I'll say to him, look mate, I'm gonna do a video on Big Red, and I'll walk you guys around Big Red. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate everything you guys are doing for the channel at the moment, and I do apologize for not having an Audi project video for you today. However, the engine work does begin next week, so Darren's coming round on Tuesday to do the vehicle. So we're going to be cracking on with it. There's going to be content to come every week now, pretty much till like March. So it's going to be fantastic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you're subscribing, you're liking, you leave a comment. You can follow me here, around here somewhere, Jayson Churn on Instagram as well. I know a couple of you guys have been asking about like my Instagram and things. It is here. I'm tagging it. It's around. Make sure you guys check it out. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.